All right, with new fighters, new talent, interesting competition, surprising stuff. And when it comes down to the wire, guys, the real competition comes in every sport, whether you people like it or not. And considering this is like another 40-minute podcast, guys, I might as well talk about it as soon as I would. Because, guys, as for all due to respect, it's going to be hard for me to understand the information I'm going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be interesting. So my first topic I like to talk about, guys, considering I only have a few topics today, but it's going to be interesting. So we're already the first week into this topic, ladies and gentlemen, and guys, my first topic I'm going to talk about, which is 2 for 1 on this first topic. So guys, I already have to go to a new location. I'm going to go to a new location to live at it's not a group home or something like that. I wouldn't know if it's not called a group home, well, yet again, because I'm not good at paying stuff for my house. So I do, this might be one of the last times I might start recording videos, content in this house. So let you viewers know if I go to a new location, just remember this video, I will be uploading a YouTube short of this, because at this time I will be going to a new location for the heck of it. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be surprising, and it's going to be surprising. I also like to point out, guys, considering I didn't upload nothing yesterday on the first week of Monday yesterday, I've been outside trying to get warm because I'm not good at wearing shirts, and I can barely keep alive for a lot of the stuff. So it's going to be hard for me to try to upload more videos and other content. But yet again, it is considering I've also made multiple other YouTube channels I have been making. As long as YouTube can give me another chance, so because I've been giving so many chances already that I really don't know what's happening. Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's all for now. So guys, for my second topic, I will point this out, guys, for competition and other stuff. So guys, considering Jesse the Bam Rodriguez is already fighting in July in the Ford Center in Frisco, California, Texas is what I meant to say. He's actually gonna. They also booked another fight that they're gonna book another fight for him in November, as they did on BoxRec against the WBA champion 18-0 Fernando Daniel Martinez in November. So that's actually weird that we're 11 days away from his next boxing match against the African fighter that ended a Japanese boxer's career, Kosiya Tanaka, 4 weight class champion, and he's gonna fight him in 11 days. Now he's going to fight in 4 more months in November the 22nd in Saudi Arabia. So that's going to be a surprising thing to look at. And even though that's going to mean that Jesse's going to try to unify his titles so much, from winning the WBO and WBA champion to unify. So yeah, good luck with that. We don't know if he's going to take on Willibaldo Garcia, a guy that's been bummed out as a fighter. He became the IBF champion on May the 23rd some months ago. So it's going to be interesting. And I just got a notification from a VTuber video. I just got a notification video from Fillion. Interesting. I wonder what this shows.
Oh my god, another knife! Should I deny this? Seal graffiti, karambit, red brick.
Oh my god, that's actually rare.
Stop! Really? Is it actually crazy? $10,000!
Oh my god!
It's worth 50K! Are we just making stuff up? Apply the graffiti back. Wait, that's a spray? That's not real. I was wondering why it looked like Johnny Sins Buster on it. Oh my god.
Okay, well, not much of a video there, but I guess some people enjoyed that. Anyway, guys, now that's out of the way. it's time to get down, ladies and gentlemen, to the talk. So, guys, so as for my second topic, talking about other championship fights, it is going to be surprising to see anyone go for a world champion and undisputed. Because, guys, as for super flyweight division, not one fighter in the super flyweight has became undisputed. So this could be Jesse the Ben Rodriguez's time to shine. I know he has a chance to defeat the African fighter. I do question how good Fernando Martinez is, an 18-0, 9 knockout fighter, an Argentina fighter, and a world champion of Argentina. Since 2017, the guy's been fighting nonstop in every single year of his career and has taken one fight a year in some fights. So it's going to be interesting with his dangerous wins in 2022 and Kazuto Ioka in 2024 and 2025 in May a couple months ago. So the guy's been defending out the titles, but because the guy stripped his IBF belt for some reason to have a rematch with Ioka in May, so technically we just cost ourselves a chance to see an undisputed championship, which is, it stinks, but it is what it is. Because Fernando should have kept the IBF or even decided not to take on a fight with anyone. At this moment, I really can't say much about it, but it's going to be interesting. Speaking about interesting, guys, it's going to be interesting to hear about Sam Goodman. Sam Goodman, 20-0 fighter. His last fight was in May against Cesar Vaca Espinoza from Mexico. It was a great 10-round win for him. Now he's going to fight against Nick Ball in August. So it says that he went up a weight class and everything going on. Seeing him not... Guys, this guy had great wins against Chinese fighter in 2023. A win against TJ Doheny in March of 2023. And Raiz Alim a few months later after that. And then he doesn't fight in a way, and now he's fighting against Nick Ball in Saudi Arabia on August the 16th. Like, it stinks to see that this guy's opportunity for a championship just slips away. I don't know what to say. And at this moment, guys, in a way, can go for a 5-weight class champion. Because we haven't had a 5-weight class champion since 2009. I think 2008, when Manny Pacquiao was dominating weight class after weight class in those 2 years from 2008 to 2010, making it from 4 to 5, 6, and winning 7, and then his 8th one. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And speaking about going to a 7th weight class champion, ladies and gentlemen, because, guys, keep this in mind. Speaking about weight classes, we do got to talk about the 7-time weight class champion of Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano, in my opinion, she's 7 weight class champion. She's held on belts after belts from a featherweight to a bantamweight to a lightweight. Like, she's done it all. And guys, even though I don't want to see Amanda Serrano, like, even she does defeat Katie Taylor, which I don't think she would, with all the controversies that happened the first fight, and then the second fight was, how did she lose that fight? Yes, she didn't have great defense work and this or that, and even though I am going to do a video on the 10th of Thursday in a couple days, reviewing my review for those fights and everything going on, I just question everything going on. So I don't know who is going to take the fight to the next level, because I do want to see Amanda Serrano go for a welterweight division. Like, she did squeak out a lightweight title win for WBO in 2014, so she has became lightweight before, just not doing it again. So, but I think she could defeat an interesting fighter in the welterweight to become an 8-time weight class champion. So I hope we get to see that in the future. All right. Jack Catterall versus Harlem Eubank. So, guys, this fight became one of the most controversial fights of July. And like I said, we're already 8 days into this first week of July. So, of course, there's going to be other controversies, whether if you talk about anything else. But this is also the main reason why I'm making this podcast. It was ridiculous. And, guys, I had a comment, someone replying to me and going online at the time when I said, man, the Morrison family are so bad, and now the Eubank family. Why are the sons of the Morrison family and the Eubank family failing so hard? Like, what is with them? And when Harlem Eubank said that he was ready for a big fight, this is what you see. I question. And one person in chat in a live stream video, I forgot what the channel's name was, said that, well, that's because the sons are wearing tight pajamas. They're not like their fathers, or whatever. The sons. They're in more slick pajamas because their fathers were in a different timeline in life that made them more tougher. But now they're more comfortable than what their fathers were in the past, which is why their sons are more fragile and soft than their fathers, like Tommy Morrison and Chris Eubank Sr. And if that's the main reason why Trey Lippe, Morrison's first son or second son, that got defeated in 2022 against Mike Bulligan, or maybe it was 2021. You know Mike Bulligan, the guy that got defeated by Moses Atama a couple months ago by that second round knockout. I know who Mike Bulligan is because he defeated one of the Morrison's kids by first round, and then some years later he lost against Murat Gassif. So I knew who Mike Bulligan is before the Moses Atama fight, which I thought to myself, he might do a good harm against a guy. And even though Dempsey McKean Morrison, he defeated one of the Hasim Rotman's sons and then lost a fight sometime later in 2022, and that ended the Morrison. Now you have the Eubank family of Chris Eubank Jr. losing fights, and now Harlem loses this fight. So I question that a lot for why the sons are getting bigger failures and they're not even going for world title matches. They're losing in contendership matches without not even getting a world title shot. So it does stink to see that the fathers are more different than what they were in the past. Now, I'm not saying that Tyson Fury is a great fighter, but for reasons how his father was not as of a good fighter and he started taking on contenders back in the day and he lost and getting horrific losses as a bum, but his son, Tyson Fury, is doing a good job. And even though his brother, Huggy Fury, did interesting stuff, he has survived distance in fights against Joseph Parker, Dillian White, and many other interesting boxers, and he's still in boxing today, so who knows, but I don't see him getting a good deal in boxing. It just goes to show you how tough it is. Because I watched the fight with Harlem Eubank. I come into this boxing match, and I'm expecting the first rounds to be decent rounds for any other fighter to be involved in. The first couple rounds of the fight were so abysmal. Harlem Eubank was only throwing one single-on jab. He was a hesitant person. He couldn't find a master plan. And in the first round, it was just Jack Catterall landing a couple punch combinations while Eubank was landing out single punches and hard jabs for each other. They came into the first, and then in the second round, Catterall, during the final seconds of the second round, like Eubank is doing a good job bouncing and doing this or that, but he's too patient. Like he's hesitating. He's thinking too much. They come into the second round, they're doing clinches and other stuff. Like, Catterall was winning out the rounds easily. And then you come to round 3 with 1 minute of the third round, and you see Harlem, he's just doing these ducking motions, this or that, but he's not throwing a lot. And Jack is doing his good stance of jabbing, and having clockwise, and then boom, there's a moment where Harlem finally goes for attack formation, and Jack gets away. Jack was getting better offensive landing punches in each round. That made you wonder, why would you say that Harlem Eubank was ready to say that he was the next big thing and he was ready to be in a contendership while you're seeing him getting outboxed in round after round? There was a moment in round 3 where they were going like there was a moment that they were clinching each other, and it almost looked like they were going for an MMA move or something in the first few seconds of round 3, and they almost looked like it was an MMA stance going on. They were both grappling each other, but it just gets worse. By round 4, Jack is just getting every single punch. Like, he found the right strategy in Harlem. And keep this in mind, Harlem doesn't even have 10 knockouts in his 21 wins, just 9. So you know that he's not a knockout person. And in round 5, there was one moment in the last minute of round 5 where Jack Catterall does actually try to, at this moment, it seems like both boxers were tired, and he does try to corner Harlem at one point, and Harlem did try to go for a couple punches. And every time he tries to go forward, Jack would actually counter it, and he did stumble Harlem. So you can tell that he was not in the right mind for what he was doing in this fight. It was bad. Like, the final minute of the round was crazy. Now, was it a boring fight? At this moment, after 4 rounds, it was. Like I said, there weren't a lot of clinches, but when there were clinches, there was a moment during the final seconds of the 5th round. Harlem tries to go for an attack, but then they clinch each other, they hug, and then the referee starts yelling for some reason, and then he puts his hands like, "What the F are you guys doing?" And then he puts his hands like this in his weird facial expression, whatever the hell he was doing, just seeing them clinch each other. Like, he just waits for them. He tells them to break, but he doesn't scoot them away. He tells them to break, and then he just waits for them to. It was so bad. You can already tell. It was so ridiculous. But then in round 6 is when the real truth came. They clinch each other. They go for the grab, and the referee is telling them to break again. And the final minute was so bad. They came out. And then there's a moment where we see a cut above the eye of Jack, and then his back is turned, and Harlem throws a punch with his back turned, times out the fight, and then we see blood streaming in. I think I did saw another interesting tiny cut on Harlem's eye or something. There was one moment in the round where he got hurt, but Jack Catterall's trainer tried to cover him with a towel, and the referee saw that to get him out of the way, and I was like, why did you not disqualify him for that? He wasn't allowed to do that. Like, yes, his face was bloody, but at this moment, check the doctors if this was the case. And even though they only had 25 seconds left, the referee just tells them to. At this moment, the fight was sloppy, but Harlem was not getting nothing done in the fight. And then, boom, with 20 seconds left, they both try to clinch each other. They grapple, and then Chris tried to get thrown, and then Jack swings, misses, and Harlem loses his balance, hits the ground, which is, at this moment, ridiculous. At this moment, this was bad, and there was a little bit of a cut on Harlem's eye or something for some reason, but this is where it gets so bad. The round ends, and then they check up on the doctors, this or that, check the towel, and then as the round's about to start, the referee swings it. So it later stated that they checked up on the doctor, checking his eye if he was all right. At this moment, the guy's face wasn't that brutally damaged. The referee stopped the fight because he didn't want no one to get hurt, or else he just wanted this fight to end before something bad happens, like the Brandon Moore and Skylar Lacey or something. Or was it a disqualification? Like, at this moment, did they accuse it because of a cut on his eye, so they stopped the fight? At this moment, when that happened, it was shocking. Because Harlem jogs to the corner to one ring and celebrates to the fans like he's Andy Yildirim, the guy that thought he won the champion, and he puts his gloves like this, and I'm the champion. Guess what? They went to a technical decision. All judges score it for only 5-1 for each point scored. Well, a couple judges, but still. They all favored it for Jack Catterall, the winner. It went to a technical decision. And of course, we did check that Eubank's head also got cut. They checked the replay that there was a clash of heads. But at this moment, why would you stop the fight there? I still look at this fight today and I find it the most yes, the headbutt clash headbutts was a thing, but and I know they did stop us from watching 6 more grueling, bad, sloppy rounds, and they stopped the fight, but the way it ended in controversy and having Eubank lose the fight even when saying that he won the fight and he's celebrating too early like Anvi Yildirim's title fights in his career. Yeah, you can tell. This was just... Yeah... It's only should have been similar, just like how Filip Hrgović should have won if they would have went to a technical decision with him and Daniel Dubois. But sadly, in the UK, there is no technical decisions. But yeah, I find this one controversial indeed. It just goes to show you how much craziness in boxing can be. And this is just one moment in history and time that just makes me wonder, how is boxing going to survive with stuff like this? Because at the end of the day, it can be on a sinking ship for a long time, and this is one of them. This would come to a dramatic end for a lot of us people, and for some reason, Jack Catterall, he's now number 5 in the rankings of the welterweight, and Harlem Eubank, well, he's number 27 still, and yeah. Even though the referee Bob Williams did deem Catterall to be in no position to continue, that still questions that technical decisions are so tough. You can say that Harlem Eubank should have won the fight because, guys, this fight took place in Manchester Arena in the UK. So why did we go to a technical decision? Why did we not go to a technical decision after 7 or 8 rounds when I thought Filip Hrgović won the fight with all technical scorecards, in my opinion, with Daniel Dubois? And they decided to end the fight by TKO and give Daniel Dubois the interim champion. And then weeks later, he became IBF champion. Keep this in mind, this was also Eddie Hearn Promotions on DAZN. So with other fights like Joe Cordina defeating a guy named Gonzalez for the WBO Global Lightweight title. So with everything going on, and also Sky Nicholson picking out a huge, tremendous knockout win here in this fight, which I wish to God she's still undefeated. But hey, American women like to fuck Australian girls in the ass. So yeah, this is just so controversial for me that there's so much problems in boxing that I just question it today. And looking back at it, this was one tough thing to look at. Yeah. So guys, the second last topic I would like to talk about, guys, today. So guys, I heard that reports stated that Jake Paul is going to be out of the WBA rankings next month. Or they say that he's already out of the WBA rankings, depending if he's going to get a shot for something. Because at this moment, it is ridiculous to talk about this right now, because with everything going on in boxing and saying that this is what we see, yeah, I do find this one really ridiculous because, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Jake Paul should have deserved to be in the rankings, but at this moment, it is a questionable thing because even though boxers do get ranked really low in the division, above the 15 ranking spots, and then the next month they're out of it, but I look back at this one and I do question a lot of problems because I do question this one, guys, because I really do. It does give me a little bit of problematics for some reason, because every time I watch this, I always look at it in a perspective as if you're ranked in the top 15 in any division, should you deserve to be in a title contention? That only depends the resume that you're in. Jake Paul takes on a former heavyweight champion, Tyson, He defeats a former champion a week ago, a couple weeks. A guy that would later be arrested and deported because he was a drug lord, which, yeah, after Julio Cesar Chavez lost the fight, he goes back and becomes a drug lord fighter. Yeah, no wonder he wasn't preparing this fight. He was too much caring about being a crime boss. Dude, Julio Cesar Chavez must be ashamed of his son right now because it's so ridiculous in today's fights. It's just so bad. And guys, the thing is, there's so many potential fights out there. People saying that Jake Paul is going to fight KSI. He's going to fight Canelo. He's going to fight Fury. He defeated a former UFC champion, Anderson Silva. But, dude, come on. You got to give me credit here because I do find this one... I do find this one tough to look at because I'm not saying that Jake Paul should have never deserved to be in the rankings, but I think looking back at it, yeah, I see this one problematic for a lot of things in my career because I watch these fights, I look at the resume of each division I look at, and it's not that it's a bad thing, but if you're a guy that's ranked in any ranking, the thing is, you got to be really good. Like Craig Parker, ranked number 15 in the WBA in cruiserweight behind Jake Paul. He's ranked number 54 in BoxRec, while Jake Paul is ranked number 71. And in that case, I would rather want to see those two box, even if there's no money in it, it's still something that you have to do. The guy's a hype job, so who knows? Or you can take on God knows who, because I just find this one questionable and something just makes me feel like it's just not the right thing. It's just... To be honest, guys, it's just so hard for me to look at this and say how legit this is. Which brings me to my final topic. Now, guys, the reason I watch boxing and I love it is because of the hilariousness of the sport. Guys, Turkey Al-Sheikh is like the Saudi Arabian of Vince Russo, the booker, promoter, and matchmaker, and everything else in the professional sports. Vince Russo is a person that disrupted the WWF's team in the mid-90s until 1999, made a lot of crazy controversies, even if he actually ruined the company a little bit. He goes to WCW in late of 99, almost destroys it, and gets left in October, and then goes to TNA and how that became a faulty mistake, and then goes back and this or that. And Vince Russo is the most controversial person. Like, he created so much horrible things for WCW, giving David Arquette the champion, which is like another thing for Jake Paul, going for a championship in a tag team match. That's ridiculous. Or the time when he invented the reverse battle royal in TNA, or even the ladder match, or the ladder match where you grab the title and hook it back up on top and you win. Like, does a lot of that stuff make sense? Some of the Vince Russo is so crazy. It's just ridiculous. And then you have Turkey Al-Sheikh on July the 12th. July the 12th, ladies and gentlemen, the world champion. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, just stay with me, guys. Stay with me on this. Because this is, when I say ridiculous, I'm saying this is ridiculous. Here's the thing. On July the 12th, Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda Segura, undefeated fighters are going to fight in the Queens, in the Louis Armstrong Stadium. They're going to fight on Oscar De La Hoya Promotions, and we'll also have the WBC World Super Lightweight title of Alberto Pillo versus Sabriel Matias. Turki Al-Sheikh made a rule system for each 20 squared ring. They're going to limit the size of each corner ring for each round. So it'll be hard for Shakur Stevenson's running around the ring, because we've heard this before. Turki Al-Sheikh hates boxers running away. So it's like it's going to be in the first round. The first round is going to be like, oh, you can run around the corner ring, and then we're going to shrink it to an 18 size ring, which means you have to run in quarter fashion, not next to the ropes. And after 4 rounds, you do that. Then you go to round 8, you have to shrink your size to like 5 feet, which means both Segura and Stevenson are going to have to fight in the center ring for the limit of running around the ring. And then the 12th round, again, he's trying to shrink the size to make it harder and trying to make it illegal for Shakur not running away, if that makes sense. I find it ridiculous for all the reasons that are just dumb. I look back at it, guys, it's ridiculous. Like, guys, the reason I love professional wrestling is because it's ridiculous for a lot of the dumb stuff. And then I love professional boxing, MMA, because it brings a lot of controversy into the sport. But guys, when you talk about NFL or baseball or hockey, like, people will always say the words NHL, NFL, MLB. But people keep forgetting that there's other divisions out there similar to other competitors. And that says no different than the champion of champions. When you have the champions in a different event. Like, for instance, guys, people will always say the NFL has their own rule regulations, but we also have other sports out there like the XFL and the LFL. And then you'll have the other sports of hockey, national hockey sports, and other divisions that have their own rule regulations, and other World Cups, and it's different. And even for MMA, wrestling, and other stuff, they have their own rule regulations. Even back in the old days, like, professional wrestling used to do the Bill Watts era. If you throw a person over the top rope, it's a disqualification. If you jump off the top rope, it's a disqualification. This or that. So back then, the Bill Watts rules was so controversial for that. So, but when you actually bring in a real sport that's a shoot and not a work, it does give you some credibility to understand how legit this sport is. So I do question this for a lot, and considering how ridiculous it is, it's just ridiculous. There's just nothing I can say about it. It's ridiculous from start to finish, and there's just nothing much I can say about it, because it's... I just question it so much the entire time that I rest my case. There's just nothing I can say about that. It's just ridiculous, and it just stinks. I just don't know what to say about this. I don't know what to say about this. Yeah. Anyway, guys, enough being silent for 1 minute. Anyway, guys. So, guys, speaking about the Oscar De La Hoya on July the 12th, We also have Raito Tsutsumi, a 1-0 boxer ranked number 638 in the featherweight. His first fight was in Times Square on May the 2nd, the Lavelle Winnington fight. And he's going to take on fighter named Isaiah Rodriguez, a 3-3 fighter, but the guy's record is over. He's ranked over 950. So I wish good luck for Raito Tsutsumi in another 6-round fight. He's had a lot of great followers recently, and I hope this fight will generate more. I do have to say his fight in Times Square has to be far better than any other fight out there in Times Square, including the title fights. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to know who's going to be the next fighter to talk about because there's enough fighters out there that make me wonder how far they're going to go. So I wish Raito Tsutsumi good luck because I've supported him in the first day right now. So we'll see how good he does. But guys, there's also one interesting thing I want to point out, guys. Female boxing. And guys, what better place to talk about this than the ranked fighter, ranked number 28, a 24-year-old southpaw Chinese female named Haney Mulatali. Her name is spelled Mulataile. That's her last name. The first name is Haine. Wait, let me go to Google Translations and see how that's pronounced because there might be something here that might let's go to English. I think I might find the name here. But this woman already won her fight a few days ago. And I would say though, this 5'11", guys, I didn't know there were Chinese women that were tall, which is crazy. How do you pronounce her name? Oh crap, forgot. Wait.
Haini Muratayari.
Haini Muatalairi. Wait, Taiyairi.
Haini Muratayari.
Taiyairi. Haini, okay, yeah, so it's Haini Muatalairi. Interesting name. Like I said before, so this woman is ranked 28 in the lightweight of female boxing, and with 5 wins, 2 knockouts in 18 rounds. Her first year in boxing is pretty interesting, from April of 2024 to now, July. Her first fight was 4 rounds distance. Her second and third fight ended in first-round knockouts. Her third fight was in Bangkok, Thailand. Her first 2 fights were in China, and her other last 2 fights in April and July this year were China, in 6-round decision fights. She managed to pull it off a good victory here, and consider this Chinese woman is a 5'11" Chinese woman southpaw fighter. That's crazy, and she is in the lightweight division. I do say support this woman because this woman might be a killer in the division, and that's just literally, just literally, because even though you have girls like Defiant Pursuit that's 5'9" in the division, and then you have Caroline Dubois that's 5'5.5" tall, also southpaw fighter, with the Brazilian boxer Beatriz Ferrari that's 5'4". Like a female boxer from China, 5'11" in the lightweight, that's ridiculous. So I have to say, give this woman props because we're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be interesting. Also, guys, don't forget, guys, I forgot to point this out. Holly Holm also came back in boxing last June, the 28th, got a 10-round decision in a 10-0 fighter, so good job for her. Hope she gets her 10th knockout. But if she does fight against a Chinese woman, I don't think she's going to win. But we're going to have to see that in the future, guys. But yeah, support this Chinese woman because this woman might be the next star. She might be a dangerous competitor. So wish this woman best of luck, and we're going to see you guys on the 10th in a couple of days, and we'll review my review for July the 11th on Jake Paul Promotions for all female boxers. So Thank you for watching this podcast. And with that being said, Foxwolf is out.